welcome back to another Star Wars Rebels episode review. My thoughts on the brand new episode of Star Wars Rebels titled Imperial Supercommandos. And I apologize for this video being as late as it is. You know, it's hard to watch the show and review it on Saturday nights because, you know, I have things going on in my life, whether it's my girlfriend or work or whatever it may be. And that's where I think sometimes, I think it's a mistake to have Star Wars Rebels on a weekend night. Just because it worked better during the week than the last couple of seasons. I don't know why they moved it to Saturday night. To me, I thought it was a mistake. So, because I have a hard time watching it live and being able to review it live for you guys. So, anyways, here I am doing the review. So, it's been a couple weeks since our last episode, and this episode picks up, you know, with, you know, Sabine having that conversation with Fan Rao, and kind of talking about, you know, just her loyalty or lack thereof to the Mandalorians, and how a lot of the Mandalorians in this episode really look at her as a traitor to her people, and how that's kind of like the theme of the episode is kind of like not where does her loyalty lie, but, you know, how the fact that she's not loyal necessarily to the Mandalorians as a whole, but rather to, you know, the people who she cares about. And I thought that was a great thing to look at in this episode. And I think, again, Sabine is one of my favorite characters in the show. And just the fact that, you know, a lot of times they really delve into her Mandalorian history, and we got a little more information about, you know, her mom in this episode, whether that's true information or not. When we got that from the leader of the Mandalorians who work for the Empire. And I always like seeing more of Sabine's backstory and more of her character and her character development. And that's where I think with this show, even though sometimes they have like some like really weak episodes, you know, because, you know, they're on Disney XD, so they have to cater to like a younger audience sometimes, and that doesn't offer us the best of storytelling. But I like having episodes like this that give us, you know, kind of like character studies and giving us a look at more of the backstory of some of our favorite characters. So, in this week's episode, we see, you know, Sabine dealing with, you know, her loyalty to the Mandalorians and how that's having an effect on the Mandalorians that are around her in this episode, especially with, you know, Fan Rao and how he's hesitant to even work with them because he sees her as a traitor to the Mandalorians. And then once Fan Rao sees what the Imperial, you know, Mandalorians have done to their own kind, he sees that and is like, seeing, you know, Sabine's loyalty to the Rebels and her friends, that kind of inspires him to, you know, maybe not look at things so black and white. And that's one thing in this episode, that was one of my favorite things about it, was seeing Fan Rao also being a character who's not just straight up, you know, like, he's not black or white. He's a very complex character, and it gives us a look at a more, you know, realistic character who's not just good or bad. He has his reasons for thinking the way he does and feeling the way he does. And throughout this episode, even though, you know, you can't fully trust the guy, you know, he's only doing what he's doing because he's trying to be loyal to his people. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just him thinking he's doing the right thing for himself and his people. And I not that I sympathize with that, but I understand where he is coming from in that instance. But, you know, seeing that, and the action sequences the action in this episode was overall really great. All the fight scenes and seeing, you know, Sabine get a jetpack and, you know, fighting the other Mandalorians, and I always love seeing Mandalorians. I don't know what it is about them that I find them so interesting, and I've always wanted to know more of the history of, you know, of the Fetts and, you know, Jango and Boba Fett. Like, not necessarily like I want like a movie of them or that, or I would like, you know, like a mention of them in one of these shows, or even seeing a younger Boba Fett in one of the episodes of this show. Because I've always been interested in seeing the Mandalorians and their history, and I want to know more about them as a race and as a culture. And having a Mandalorian as one of your main characters in the show gives us the opportunity to look into that. And not tonight, but in this episode, we see a lot more of that. So that's one of the things that I really like seeing. And that the Mandalorians, again, aren't just black and white characters that aren't just good or bad. They're conflicted characters. They kind of do, not selfish characters, but they kind of do things in the interest of, you know, their people, but also themselves. That's why, like, the Imperial Mandalorians did what they did, because they thought that what they were doing was for the betterment of their race, of their people. And I like seeing that. And I thought this episode again was a lot of fun. I loved seeing a lot more of Sabine and seeing her moments with Fen Rao, and just seeing the kind of two different sides of a Mandalorian's mindset. Of, you know, she doesn't think she's disloyal. She's doing her best to protect people and do the right thing. And Fen Rao sees what she's doing as disloyal. And by the end of the episode, he actually, you know, he sides with the rebels and he wants to become a part of the rebellion after seeing Sabine's selfless acts. And I thought that was a great thing to have, especially in a character again who's flawed, who's not black and white. And I just thought it was a really good character study episode. And I just love the Mandalorians all around in this episode, even like the villains who, you know, when each time, you know, any one of the main characters gets captured or anything, there's always I'm not a rebel, and just in this episode going through all the lies. And even like the Mandalorian guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but even he is like, okay, like, I don't believe you at all, you're just lying, just tell us the truth and just get this over with. But I had a lot of fun with this episode. The Mandalorians are one of my favorite aspects of Star Wars, so I'm glad we got to see a little more of that in this episode. So, yeah, that being said, that's pretty much it in my thoughts on this episode. What were your guys' thoughts on this episode? Again, I apologize for this video being as late as it is. What were your guys' favorite moments in this episode? What are you guys looking forward to in the season moving forward? And I'm going to try to do my best to get these videos to you as soon as I can on Saturdays, or if not Sundays. This video might be going up on Monday. I apologize if that's as being like, I've had a lot going on between work and my personal life and everything. So I'll try to get these videos up as soon as I can. So thank you guys for watching, and if you guys would like to like this video, subscribe to my channel for all the other Star Wars Rebels reviews I've done. I review The Flash, Supergirl, Legend of Tomorrow. I just did my review of the new Marvel movie Doctor Strange, if you guys want to watch that review. And yeah, so that's going to be it for me. So until next time, guys, have a good one.